Oh no, I should be alright. You end up getting smoked in this bit. That does that. So I have paddled over to Wee Cumbrae, which is a wee island just south of Millport, or Big Cumbrae. Set off from Hunterston, a wee car park over there where the car's still sitting, and hopefully it will be sitting when I get back. It was about a 3k paddle. It took me an hour and 15 minutes. It was quite tough going. It was fairly wavy and a bit windy. So it was definitely the toughest paddle I've done so far in the kayak. I'm going to have a wander around the island. It's not exactly the biggest. It's about 3 square kilometres in area. Obviously, because it's square kilometres. It's got 2 lighthouses on it. One is bang smack in the middle. It's an old-fashioned one that the light was produced by basically sticking a bunch of coal in it and setting that on fire, just on the top rather than in it. And the one off the west coast, we're on the east coast just now, where the castle is. The one on the west coast is a traditional lighthouse with electricity and a light on a house. But we'll head off on foot, check out these lighthouses. It's getting quite cloudy, it's not supposed to rain, so hopefully that stays true. And it's meant to get clear at night, so I'm hoping for some star shots at least. If I get a sunrise in the morning, a sunset tonight, that'll be fantastic. So we'll go and find some locations and explore the island a wee bit. It should be pretty much empty. Arguably not another soul on this island at all. So, should have the place pretty much to myself. So I've came up the east coast of the island. It's just a tiny wee bit and you get Broad Island, which is this minuscule wee island just off of it, which is used as a seal colony. And I was wondering, will there be seals? Will there not be seals? Who knows? There's tons of them and I'm so happy. Some of them have came off the actual island and they're just sort of watching. They're all in the water. It's as if like I'm the exhibit for them. It's dead interesting. But there's some pups, there's some full-grown seals. I'm really happy. Like, I broke my drone earlier, but I'm not bothered. Like, I was so happy to see these wee seals. I'm at the north point of the island now. I've just been walking round basically the coastline because there's not really much in the way of paths that go right round the island. You've got one that leads to the main points, the lighthouses, more of the southern side. We do get a lovely view of Millport, which, as I said, also Great Cumbrae or Big Cumbrae. A nice little island. It's not been the simplest of walks with no path here, just scrambling over rocks, ferns, jagged bushes, all sorts. It's taken me quite a bit, but we've got plenty of time. Still got a good 3 hours until sunset. I'll be well round to the west side lighthouse by then. So I couldn't keep going round the coast because of basically a cliff that was impassable. Came up the hill a bit off the coast through the ferns, thinking I could go round it, but I couldn't get up it. And now I have been walking through these waist high ferns for the best part of 40 odd minutes, and I've now just got to turn back to go back to the coast, and I think I'll need to just go right back to where I was because it's now just impassable. They're getting up above my waist. There's bracken and ferns and bramble bushes all tied in, so your legs are getting cut up. And Lito, he's there, can't see her. She's knackered as well, so I'm just hoping if I hightail it back, I can still get somewhere for sunset. But the main thing is to get out of this bloody fern bush and get back down onto the coast where it's nice and easy. But yeah, I've got to hammer on. Unfortunately, not much else I can do. The only good thing is that I've basically carved a track coming in, so getting back out is nowhere near as tough, but it's still far from easy. So I finally made it back out. Only took about 10-15 minutes to get out, but it was horrible being stuck up in that. So much effort just to move. Stay out the bracken. Lesson learnt. Stay out the bracken. This totally wasn't worth it coming round to this portion of it. Some nice coast and that, but I really wish I didn't bother my arse. I kind of feel like I've wasted the first afternoon into the evening, which I'm wasting more of by standing here. So I'm going to hightail it absolute fast as I can back to my camp, and then there's some paths that'll take me up to the other lighthouses directly, and I'll stick with them. So that turned out to be a bit of a riot. We're back about 10 minutes, 15 minutes after sunset. There was some not bad golden hour light, which I managed to fire off a few snapshots of, but because I knew time was ticking away, I really didn't want to be on the rocks at the beach once it was dark, because they were bad enough in the daylight. I'm pretty knackered. That was about 4-5 hours that I've been on my feet, and a lot of it's just been rock hopping, and then that hour going through the bracken, which just absolutely destroyed me. So a wee bit gutted that I wasn't around at the west lighthouse for sunset, which was the plan, and I would have definitely gotten some nice shots there, but oh well. Lessons learnt. The sky is fairly clear though, so something to eat for both of us. Lito's probably going to need a wee nap, and then we'll start making our way over the direct route, because I know there's an actual path that goes to the West Lighthouse for some star shots. But first things first. So we're on the west side of the island now, which is kind of odd. There's the older lighthouse and an actual modern one that still functions. The old one is obviously connected up to a lot of old buildings that would have originally been for the caretakers and that. They are still fairly intact but long since abandoned, so you can have a nosy about them. Unfortunately, some people have obviously vandalised certain bits of it, but it's quite eerie in the dark. We've also got this sort of weird generator room from the more modern lighthouse that we're in as well. So a lot to explore here. It's pretty cool. So, finally made it back to camp. It's about half an hour, 40 minutes over to the west coast for the lighthouse. Just remembered I made tea and stuck it in a flask, which I completely forgot about. Oh well. Some really nice shots. The lighthouse is in an absolute state, but beautiful at the same time. Just the right amount of dilapidated. So hopefully they look good in the camera. Once I get them home and get them edited, hopefully be able to get them looking brilliant. Definitely worth the trek over. I'm so gutted I missed sunset for that side. If you're over here, the east coast, go up to Broad Island, see the seals, and then turn round. Just turn back round. There's the cliffs and stuff are a wee bit nice up there when you hit the sort of north of it, very north coast. It's not worth the effort, it really isn't. I'm fairly fit and I'm absolutely burst, and I'm annoyed at myself for using up all that energy going up the east when I didn't get to explore the west side until it was dark. And then there's caves and stuff in the south that I'll need to explore tomorrow. As far as where I want to be tomorrow morning for sunrise, I'm probably just going to head back over to the lighthouse. I didn't make it to the ancient lighthouse, the old one. I couldn't see a trail that went up to it, and I wasn't cutting through bracken again, so we'll leave that until daylight. Quite a good bit of wildlife, quite a good bit. I seen some newts, and there was some voles as well kicking about, but they were all far too fast for me to get a photo of, or even some video. There was a nice wee moth that I seen, just chilling out in the grass. But yeah, it's strange being on the island that you know is completely empty when it is substantial as far as size goes. The old abandoned buildings, I had a wee nosy through some of them. They're pretty creepy, obviously, because it's night time. So you just kind of hope you're alone in the island. But yeah, I struggle to actually find a huge amount on Little Cumbrae. Wee Cumbrae, as it's locally known, because we use the word wee instead of little. But it's such an adventure. It's such a nice wee place. It's easy to get to. Even without paddling, you can get over to Millport, spend some time in Millport, and then get a wee ferry over here on foot. There's nothing on it, as I said. There's no shops, there's no toilets, so I can see that would maybe put some people off. But if you're able to, definitely worth the adventure. I'd come just to see that seal colony. I know I keep going on about it. I love that. So, it's definitely bedtime. I'm actually looking forward to crawling into the coffin and getting some sleep. Leto's clearly knackered as well. every minute we stopped, she just lay down straight away. And I'll set the alarm bright and early to finish that half hour, 40-minute hike to get to the other side for sunrise. If there is one. If there's not going to be one, I'll always stick my head out, and if it's just completely overcast, back to bed. Time will tell. Oh. So I am up. Well, I got up about 20 minutes before the alarm went off, because fantastically my roll mat got a puncture. So I've been pretty cold and pretty sore through the whole night. It's not the best of luck for this trip, I suppose. A few issues, all that could have been solved a lot easier. My back is knackered, absolutely knackered, just from sleeping on that ground. And also it was worked quite hard yesterday, so it wasn't the ideal sleep. Not that I got much of it. So kettle's obviously already been on. Get some breakfast. A really slow plod over to the lighthouses. Sky's pretty clear, so hopefully we'll at least get a wee bit of colour coming through. And if nothing else, loosen off the back. Oh shit. So I have came down to the castle for sunrise, which is proving difficult, because I'm wanting to be down here on the beach for my photo, but as you can see, the tide is coming in pretty quickly. From the time it took me to get from that camera up to my bag and back down, that's now a good few inches underwater. So I'm going to fire off one quick last photo, and then I'm going to need to get back up to camp, which is pretty much packed up. While I was waiting for sunrise, I just got that packed up, and I'll head off once I've taken the last shot and the sun's up. Going to save the caves and that are pretty much obstructed by that bracken that I was trying to get through earlier, so there'll be a time for autumn, a wee bit further into autumn, once that's all died off. But yeah, I'm going to take this last photo before my camera submerges itself and the tide comes in. But yeah, you can hear the sails in the background. Going to go and see them on the way out the bay, because they're just up on that wee island. And thankfully it's considerably calmer seas today, so it should be a lovely little paddle back. Hope you enjoyed this. Didn't go as planned, broke the drone. Was hoping to get some nice sweeping shots for you. Another time we'll come back, go and see 4pads on Instagram, because that's where all my good photos go up.